What is going on, guys? It is Blink here, back with a new guide. So in this guide, we'll be talking a little bit about pushing players with smart rotations. Also, the V-Bucks giveaway is still going on, so make sure to visit the link in the description to enter. And lastly, don't forget to subscribe and turn on notifications as I post an Amazon gift card code in the comments every time I upload. By turning on notifications, you'll have a way better chance of getting here first and redeeming that code. Anyways, guys, let's get to this guide. This first situation is against the last team, and I've got the advantage. Now, we actually waited a little bit to see if they would give up the high ground and push us, and that never happened. So what I did was try to get in behind these players. I'm going wide and making sure not to build, that way these players don't notice me. My teammates shot at these players to keep their focus all towards him as I pushed. I also have my eyes focused in their general direction, that way if I do get spotted, I can instantly build myself cover to avoid getting hit. So as I got to the top, I sat and waited until I can get a critical sniper shot. A headshot is very important for this fight. I also want to mention that I don't have to be mobile because these are the last players. Had there been a few more teams, then sitting here without movement would be a death trap. I got the opportunity I needed. One of the opponents started healing up in the open, and that allowed me to get a super easy headshot, which resulted in a knock. He thought we were both down at the divot, so he comfortably healed without building. Now, I'm sure he had max materials and a few walls wouldn't hurt him. I'll be honest, I probably would have done the same. If you guys remember in my last guide, I got shot from a few players in a porta-fort when I had max materials, and I had that feeling that there were players inside the porta-fort, and I never built the simple wall, which resulted in me almost getting eliminated. So, getting in the habit of building when needed, even when you think you're safe, will save you more than not. After the snipe, that instantly turns the situation into our advantage. Had I not hit the shot or just done critical damage, that can still favor my opponents because my teammate's a little bit behind. And all these players would have to do is push me together quickly before my teammate can come up and help and support. Now, I did get the knock and the advantage was ours. Had a little build battle with this player and he ended up falling to his death after taking some damage. So, this next situation is about making decisions. We could have pushed this mountain and that could either put us in an advantage or disadvantage. Now, notice the safe zone is closer to us. By waiting out the safe zone, we'll most likely get the advantage. And the safe zone does end up landing on us. So, these players have to push us. If they've got no jump pad, then they'll need to run in between the mountains with the high ground on our side the whole way. Now, they ended up jump padding, and this is where you want to put on as much damage as you can to decide if you want to go for the push. If you've dealt no damage, then holding the high ground would still be a solid advantage. Now, we ended up knocking one of the players because he basically told us to knock him. When you're getting shot at, don't act like you're not getting shot at. This player had his glider open the whole time, which kept his speed the same and it wasn't hard to track him. You want to open and close your glider as you're jump padding. This changes the speed you move at, which would have thrown our aim off. Now, there was a solo player that pushed us, and I'm gonna skip through it because it wasn't anything important. So, the last player was a knocked player's teammate, and all we ended up doing was spamming his materials as he kept rebuilding. Eventually, we got the elimination. Now, this player had a few options. He could have double ramped up to us and tried fighting for the high ground, or he could have kept rebuilding and lined up a sniper shot. It's just two things that would have been good to do in his situation. Now, in this next situation, these players started pushing us. So, getting the high ground early allowed me to help my teammate pressure one of the opponents. I was able to get a few shots off, although in the process, I got pushed by the second player, and he actually had the high ground. The moment I saw him above me, I placed the floor above my head, and he actually ended up jumping off. What he should have done was built a little higher and started shooting down at me. So, the moment he jumped down, I went a little higher, and as I did that, he built up again. Now, why having the high ground here is so important is because as I have the high ground and as he tries building up, he can't build up and have me in his view the whole time. As he's building up for that high ground, it's harder for him to see me. This allows me to take critical shots anytime he exposes himself. He also never built up for the high ground properly. He just ended up building stairs knowing I was above him. So as I peeked out, he never built cover. He kind of just shot back. Just never used the proper materials as he got closer. So in this last situation, we ended up fighting this team and another team started shooting in our direction to our right. They were more back right of us. Had we stayed in the same spot, that would have put us in the middle of both teams. So what we ended up doing is backing up and allowing both teams to have access to each other and fight it out. By us backing up, it put the team that was to our right into the middle. They never took into account that we were still around and started taking shots at the players we were originally fighting. I was able to tag one up in the back because that's exactly what's going to happen to them. The team in the middle will most likely take most of the damage because they are the most visible to both teams that are on the outside of them. We proceeded to push and I noticed both teams were pretty far apart. So I pushed the one and would have gotten the knock, but ended up getting shot at again by another team. Had to back up again, and as we did that, we got pushed. Ended up eliminating both players and got the heal off to put me back into a comfortable vulnerable position. Now, the main key to take from this is that the team that was in the middle ended up being in between two other teams and us. Had the team that shot at us pushed the players in the middle, it would have made it much worse for them. So to conclude this example, if you notice you might end up in between two teams, if possible, rotate and change your positioning. That way you don't put yourself in a sandwich between both teams. Well guys, that's it for this guide. Hope it can help some people out, and a like and a sub would be greatly appreciated as it does help me out a lot. Anyways guys, thanks for watching, and I hope you have a great rest of your day or night, and I'll see you on the next one.